to JKLA News, the news channel that has the newest news for your news-watching pleasure. Today we have a special broadcast prepared. We'll be doing a historic recap on the past 15 years of life in America. We'll first take a look at what some of you remember as your teenage years.
During the 1950s, teens spent their time listening to rock music, shopping at malls, eating in diners, and going to drive-in movies. A popular movie that came out during this time was Grease, starring John Travolta. This movie, among many others, and rock music, inspired teens to become more rebellious. A popular artist during this time was Elvis Presley. However, many people believed his music and dancing were savage.
Thank you for tuning in to today's special broadcast. Today we have Elvis Presley here to answer some of your burning questions.
How you doing, folks?
So Elvis, tell us, what do you think is your most influential song?
I think an influential song, and one of my favorites, would be Hound Dog.
That's a good one. You sold over 4 million copies, right?
Yes, I did.
And your performance on the Milton Berle Show was one to remember.
I got in trouble for that one.
The teenagers sure do love watching that. On another note, weren't you drafted into the military?
Yes, for 2 years. You know, I lived off a salary of $78 a month. A month! Imagine going from a rich superstar to $78 a month.
That must have been rough. Speaking of rough, you've had some haters out there, haven't you?
I guess so. I mean, who doesn't?
You were banned from dancing and were called savage. I heard they also accused you of brainwashing teens.
Yeah, well, you can't expect to be famous without some people that don't understand you. And just because teens like something, that doesn't make it wrong. I mean, they don't call me the king of rock for no reason.
Right, well, I think that just about does it. Thank you, Elvis, and thank you, audience, for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Guatemalan President Jacobo Arbenz Guzman was captured by a CIA American-trained Guatemalan army. They were sent in to capture him because he was presumed to have communist views and be working with the Soviet Union. An American-trained Guatemalan army was sent in to capture the president after it was believed that he had communist views.
After Jacobo Arbenz Guzman was captured, the Guatemalan army's leader, Carlos Castillo Armas, became the dictator of Guatemala. The country will hold another election soon to properly elect a new president.
We will keep you updated as this story progresses.
JKLA News will be back after this short commercial break.
Meet Susan, the housewife just like you. Susan is shopping for supper. And where can you find all the ingredients you need for the meal? Where else but ShopRite? See Susan in the produce aisle, picking the freshest food there is in America.
I love my family.
This is Martha. Martha struggles with motivation and isn't the best cook. If you find yourself feeling like Martha, then ShopRite has the solution for you.
With these frozen dinners, you can have dinner ready in 2 minutes.
And ShopRite delivers weekly coupons to your door for your convenience. Here we have Karen using her weekly coupons at the checkout.
What do you mean they're expired? Can I talk to your manager?
And here is Alice, a housewife and a new mom, purchasing baby food for her brand new son.
My husband should be here. I don't see why I can't work.
ShopRite does it right.
Our next guest today is the amazing African-American poet Langston Hughes. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's get started. What would you consider to be your most well-known poem?
I think The Negro Speaks of Rivers is a pretty popular one.
I'd agree. That's a very impactful poem. What was your inspiration to making this poem?
Well, I wanted to create a poem that represented the voices and memories of African Americans that were forced into slavery.
You definitely accomplished this. What do the rivers in the poem symbolize?
The rivers symbolize endlessness, geographical awareness, and the epitome of the human soul.
That's beautiful. Moving on, I've heard you've written many screenplays. Tell me about those.
One of my favorite plays is Black Nativity.
Oh, isn't that the play that's performed by an entirely black cast?
Yes, I wanted to retell the classic Nativity story with an entirely black cast. The cast performs many traditional Christmas carols in gospel style.
Now, you're considered one of the leaders of the Harlem Renaissance. What's it like to know you've helped start such an amazing movement?
It's an honor to have influenced so many people to fight for their rights.
Right, well, I think we're out of time. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
The baby boomer generation is the newest generation of children being born that is continuing to this day. It is one of the largest generations to date. This baby boom was caused by many men returning home from World War II and wanting to start their families. Also, after the Great Depression, there was a huge economic growth, so families were able to move to the suburbs, and begin their families. The baby boom began in 1946 and is continuing to this day. However, it is predicted to end in 1964. In 1957, which had the highest overall births, around 4.3 million Americans were born. This is about 109% more than the national average. During this time, there were 7 babies born every minute. It is predicted that in the year 2020, this generation will make up 20% of all Americans. Thank you for joining us for today's special broadcast. We hope to see you next time on JKLA News.